The Game Boy Advance was a treasure chest of some of the weirdest, wildest, and most wonderfully unique RPGs ever jammed into 32 bits. From tactical fever dreams to monster-fusing madness, these games threw out the rulebook and dared to be different. Maybe it was using real sunlight as a weapon, becoming a Pokemon yourself, or casting elemental love magic during a school field trip. The GBA era gave us RPGs that were bold, bizarre, and flat-out badass. So grab your link cable and your potions. These aren't your average level grinding snooze fests. Boktai, the sun, is in your hand. If a vampire hunting RPG told you to take your console outside, you'd probably laugh and keep grinding indoors. But this little cartridge was built different. It came with an actual light sensor and dared you to use the sun as ammo. That's right, no sunlight, no solar bullets. Better hope that shady alley you're hiding in has a solar station, or you're running from every skeleton with a grudge. You'll play as a moody boy with an even moodier gun that shoots literal sunlight. His name? Django. His goal? Avenge his dad and BBQ, every immortal leech plaguing the crumbling city of Istrakhan. It's not just point and shoot, though. You'll sneak through crypts like a gothic solid snake, stun undead nasties with backshots, and pray to Ra that your gun stays charged long enough to drag bosses into the sunlight for a final glorious pile driver takedown. The clock ticks in real-world time, enemies get frisky after dark, and you can literally cure trees with the power of UV rays. Kojima's fingerprints are all over this weird, brilliant solar-powered experiment. And yes, it's still one of the wildest reasons to ever play your GBA on a rooftop at noon. Sigma Star Saga. When your random encounters launch you into bullet hell dogfights in space, you know you're not playing a typical RPG. One second you're chatting up scientists on a bio-wrecked planet, the next you're getting yeeted into the stars to pilot a giant space shrimp armed with laser cannons. Yeah, things escalate quickly. You'll step into the boots of Ian Wrecker, a pilot so deep undercover he gets infected with an alien parasite suit that basically turns him into the most badass starfighter Uber driver in the galaxy. On foot, it's classic planetary exploration with secrets, weapons, and puzzles. But space? That's where things get freaky. You're not just piloting one ship, you're randomly tossed into different classes every fight. Agile fighter, heavy bomber, slow space brick. Take your pick. Or don't. The game picks for you. Now toss in a gun customization system with 1,000 plus possible combinations, and it's like Frankenstein built a shmup inside an RPG and then gave it a plot involving planetary bioweapons, parasite suits, and backstabbing bosses. Oh, and the enemy once carved out a Canada-sized chunk of Earth, so the stakes? Pretty damn high. CIMA, the enemy. You start on a peaceful train ride to a new life, and then BAM! Interdimensional tentacle monsters from Planet Despair Buffet yank the whole carriage into a hellish dungeon powered by human hopelessness. Honestly, it's rude, but also brilliant. Because instead of just slashing your way through, your real goal is escort duty. Except, for once, it's the good kind. You'll take charge as one of two bickering gate guardians, Ark and Ivy, as you try to guide 14 whiny, wonderful survivors through bizarre puzzle box mazes crafted by alien jerks called CIMA. These things feed on despair, like it's breakfast cereal, so they build dungeons that toy with the human psyche, which means no escape, no hope, and way too many levers that need pushing. Gameplay hits that sweet, tactile tactical action spot. You'll pause the action to command your crew around puzzles and pressure plates while fending off CIMA creepers in real-time combat. NPCs aren't useless either. Some shoot, some solve, and some just sass you until they're rescued. Relationships grow, characters change, and trust actually matters in both the narrative and gameplay. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. What starts with a spiky-haired teen chasing a mouse king turns into an emotional memory wipe conducted by hooded weirdos in a castle full of déjà vu. Welcome to the weird middle child of an iconic RPG series, a game where your attacks, spells, and even your jumps are determined by a deck of cards. Yes, even walking into battle is basically a tarot reading. You'll climb floor after floor of Castle Oblivion, smacking Disney villains with a comically large key, all while your memories of besties, crushes, and reality get scrambled like breakfast eggs. Want to land a combo? Better build your deck just right. Want to heal? Hope that potion card isn't buried under Donald's fireball. And the twist? Cards can be broken mid-attack, so strategy beats button mashing every time. Between the room synthesis mechanic, color-coded map cards, and sleights, special 3-card combos that summon magic, or Goofy with a shield, the gameplay hits that sweet spot between chaotic and clever. Oh, and once you finish your main quest, a bonus storyline unlocks where you control a broody Riku fighting his inner Ansem demons like a goth Jedi.
So be it.
Riviera, the Promised Land. Who needs freedom of movement when you've got romance options, winged reapers, and a sacred talking cat? This game skips the open world pretense and says, look, you'll go where we tell you, fall in love with someone, and probably save paradise. You're welcome. You'll play as Ein, a wingless grim angel with a magical death sword and the emotional range of a confused puppy. After waking up with amnesia in a peaceful village, classic, he stumbles into a demon rebirth apocalypse, an overcomplicated divine conspiracy, and the very awkward reality of sharing a house with 4 very different anime girls. It's like The Bachelor, if the contestants were armed and half the dates took place in cursed graveyard. Combat is a turn-based fever dream where item management is life or death. Every weapon has limited uses and triggers different skills depending on the character. Want a magic blast or a heal? Same item. Better pick right. The overdrive system adds spicy ultimates, and choosing your 3-person battle team becomes a flirt-fueled strategy session. Toss in Norse mythology, undead demons, and an ending that depends on who you talk to most nicely, and boom, angelic dating sim RPG perfection in 32-bit glory. Summon Knight Swordcraft story. When your dad seals a fire demon inside a sword by sacrificing his own soul, what do? Obviously, you enter a blacksmithing tournament and beat up half the city to honor him. That's not a metaphor. You literally forge swords, fight in tournaments, and unravel an ancient conspiracy involving magical blades and shady craft lore. The day-by-day structure drops you into Whiston, a floating weapon-obsessed city where even your neighbours probably have their own battle arenas. Each day, you'll venture deeper into the labyrinth, 50 floors of enemies, boss fights, and hammer-swinging chaos. Combat is a fast-paced 2D side-scrolling brawl where your custom-crafted weapons have durability and style. Break your blade mid-battle? Hope you brought a backup, or enjoy bonking enemies with your sad little hammer. The real kicker? You forge your own gear using elemental materials and mystic ores, enchant stuff depending on your magical beast buddy, and lose sleep, picking which adorable NPC to spend nighttime chats with. Your stats depend on leveling and love, your weapons degrade like spoiled milk, and the final boss is a flaming spirit god you beat with your father's soul blade. Forge it, break it, save the world with it, all in one wild week. Tactics Ogre, the Knight of Lodis. If chess had angels, demons, and political betrayal, this is what it would evolve into. You command a squad of soldiers, dragons, and possibly undead as you storm a continent torn apart by empire-fueled tyranny and literal divine horns. Because, yes, the Holy Spear? It's actually a severed demon horn. Welcome to Medieval War Crimes, the Tactical RPG edition. You start off as Alphonse, a wide-eyed knight, just following orders until he realizes those orders include some light genocide. What follows is a beautifully pixelated rebellion against your former comrades, involving shifting alliances, moral crossroads, and one very angry fallen angel named Shaher who wants to ice skate all over Ovis with an army of the damned. Combat is grid-based, but don't be fooled. It's not just about positioning. Your units come in dozens of classes with alignments, elements, and emblems that evolve based on your choices. Want your dragon to upgrade into a frost-breathing terror? It better eat its stat veggies. Want the best ending? Better beat the final boss in under 25 hours and bring your BFF Eleanor to the fight. Strategic, brutal, and full of moral grey zones, this one doesn't just test your tactics, it questions your soul. Like Fire Emblem, but meaner. DemiKids Light and Dark. You summon a lion-headed sun demon, time travel through Valhalla, fight a fallen Lucifer, battle beings who literally eat time, and you're still in middle school. No pressure. But that's exactly what happens when you and your anima-haired besties read from a demonic textbook during recess. Forget spelling bees. This curriculum includes battling Imperium overlords with cosmic forces of light. Your journey kicks off with Jin, the lore-aligned golden boy who unlocks his inner DemiKid powers and becomes the chosen one of literal sunlight. He partners with Rand, a sassy solar lion, and dives headfirst into a multi-dimensional rebellion where demons are both party members and therapy cases. Combat is classic turn-based demon-on-demon warfare, but the real fun's in recruiting and fusing 362 monsters, each with stats, quirks, and at least one demon that looks like it skipped yoga class for centuries. Your choices shape the story, from who lives and dies to how time itself plays out. And with post-game content that lets you fight Shiva on a cosmic tower after saving your dead friends from alternate timelines, yeah, this GBA ride is anything but light. Forget Pokemon. This is occult JRPG chaos with fangs, fusion, and a moral compass that spins like a broken clock. Mother 3. You're basically a cowboy dad with a pair of sweet twin boys living in a peaceful village where saving your game means talking to frogs. Sounds wholesome, right? Then everything burns, Mum gets murked by a cyborg dinosaur, capitalism crashes through the front door with TV boxes, and next thing you know, you're fighting fascist pigmen and crying into your GBA. At its heart is Lucas, a shy kid with psychic powers and the emotional baggage of 10 Shakespeare tragedies. You'll explore the quirky nowhere islands, recruit a dog and a runaway princess, and try to pull magic needles before a masked, lightning-chucking mystery boy beats you to it. You can string together attack combos by tapping to the beat of jazzy, trippy battle tracks. Seriously, you can body slam enemies harder if you've got rhythm. Beneath the goofy enemies and weird dialogue hides one of the darkest, most heartfelt tales ever squeezed into a 32-bit cartridge. There's rebellion, grief, memory-wiping eggs, and time-traveling despots sealed in antisocial hamster balls. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll hug your dog, and once it's over, you'll wish the world had just one more needle left to pull. Yggdra Union will never fight alone. What if a tactical RPG made you fight like a chess grandma, but also let you drop a meteor on someone with the power of a justice-infused playing card? Enter a brutal battlefield where you're the exiled princess leading an army of misfits, wielding a holy sword, and justifying absolutely everything in the name of righteous vengeance. Forget just one-on-one duels. This war is fought through unions of characters, where entire units smash together in synchronized soldier-on-soldier carnage. Men form X-shaped unions, women form plus-shaped ones. Gendered geometry, anyone? And later, you'll start linking unions like military daisy chains. Every turn begins by picking a magic card that controls movement, stats, and sometimes literal divine wrath. Want to heal everyone? Warp across the map? Blow the enemy to pieces with righteous fury? There's a card for that. Morale is your HP, items break like bad habits, and every unit is a micromanagement dream/nightmare with 6 stats, elemental affinities, and strategic effects. The plot doesn't pull punches either. Your princess might unite the world or accidentally justify a war crime, depending on your choices. Magical vacation. When your summer vacation turns into a dimension-hopping rescue mission involving spirit-powered fireballs, kidnapped classmates, and a hot spring stat boost system, you know you're not in Kansas, or even Hogwarts anymore. Welcome to a magical school trip gone spectacularly sideways. You'll play as a gifted kid from Will-O-Wisp Academy with the rare and mildly horrifying ability to see spirits. After you and your fellow students head to Valencia Beach for some chill extracurricular magic, weird goo monsters called Enigma show up, abduct everyone, and scatter your classmates across planes of light, darkness, and actual death. No sunscreen is strong enough for this field trip. Combat's turn-based, but the real wizardry is in the 16-element system and Sire combos. Summon spirits, match their element with your spells, and unleash magical nukes that can deal 128 times normal damage. Oh, and did we mention multiplayer spells, dark mode, costume unlocks, and hot spring rankings? You get stronger by bathing strategically. This GBA gem never made it out of Japan officially, but it's stuffed with more charm, elemental madness, and spirit-fused chaos than most modern RPGs. It's Harry Potter meets Final Fantasy with a twisted tan line. Fire Emblem: The Binding Blade. When your dad's too sick to lead the army and dragons start crashing the gates of every kingdom like scaled party crashers, guess who gets promoted? That's right, teenage tactician Roy, armed with a cape, a sword, and enough charisma to rally half the continent before lunch. You'll guide him through the continent of Yggdra, grid by grid, in a war so massive even the divine weapons need backup. Every battle is a chess match with stakes. Units who fall don't faint, they die forever. So when your Pegasus Knight charges a Wyvern Rider with an axe, It's not just strategy, it's a gut-wrenching decision you'll replay in your nightmare. Combat thrives on the classic weapon triangle, but mastery means understanding terrain, support bonuses, and when to feed kills to your favorite anime swordsman. As the story snowballs from medieval turf war to apocalyptic dragon resurrection, Roy's journey evolves into a legendary slog through deserts, tundras, and hidden temples. And when you finally yank the binding blade from its shrine and go toe to claw with the demon dragon, pure turn-based drama. This is permadeath politics, anime tragedy, and dragon-slaying royalty, all packed into one relentless GBA cartridge. Roy's not just our boy, he's a legend. Shining Soul 2. A dark night snacks on a forbidden fruit, and everything turns into chaos. Enter you, a lone tournament rando, suddenly upgraded to Chosen One status, because, well, everyone else is either evil or incompetent. What follows is a top-down, button-mashing dungeon crawl blitz through 10 increasingly bonkers realms and 8 hidden bonus stages, where goblin camps, evil witches, and rogue alchemists all have one thing in common: they're about to get smashed. With 8 classes, from spear-chucking archers to shadowy ninjas, a fully swappable triple weapon loadout, and magic that explodes harder than a toddler with a juice box, you're in for hours of crunchy, loot-fueled mayhem. Level up to 200, charge soul attacks by slaying enemies, and raise your resistance stats the old-fashioned way, by taking repeated elemental damage to the face. There's even a Diablo-style multiplayer mode, just you, your friends, and some good old inventory Tetris while you dodge fireballs. And when you finally slay chaos itself in its freaky dimension of doom, yeah, your vacation's officially over, but your legend's just beginning. Dungeon crawling, goblin clobbering, and hero upgrades with fruit-based plot twists. This one absolutely slaps. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. You wake up one morning and, surprise, you're no longer a human. You're a Psyduck, or a Cubone, or maybe a Machop with mild amnesia and a whole existential crisis brewing. But there's no time to panic because the world's literally crumbling and Moultrie's just tried to barbecue your partner. This is dungeon crawling with emotional trauma. You and your partner Pokemon form a rescue team, diving into procedurally generated death traps to save others from avalanches, lava flows, and hostile Gengars with Napoleon complexes. Along the way, you'll fight legendary birds, rally a town against a meteor, and get blamed for an ancient curse involving Gardevoir and tail touching. Yep. Combat is turn-based, and every move matters. You'll scavenge for apples, link attacks, chuck rocks, and pray your Pikachu doesn't faint on the 38th floor. When you're not rescuing Diglett from a hole it could easily escape from, you're dodging team meanies and unraveling your forgotten past. Turns out you chose this form to save the world. And when Rayquaza nukes a meteor from space and you disappear in the aftermath, your triumphant comeback makes Pikachu cry. This ain't just a rescue game, it's a full-blown redemption arc. Lufia, the Ruins of Lore. You're a carefree adventurer named Eldin, just vibing across the countryside when, surprise, a warmongering empire teams up with a suspiciously evil dude to hunt a legendary kaiju-sized beast. Naturally, you end up in the middle of it all, because that's what RPG protagonists do. That, and fuse with monsters like a fantasy-themed Power Rain. This side story spin-off ditches some of Lufia's usual suspects. Bye-bye, Sinistrals, and instead drops you into a war-ravaged world 20 years post-Maxim, with fresh characters, fresh chaos, and, yes, freaking disc monsters. You can battle, tame, and fuse with these beasts mid-fight once your IP meter maxes out. It's a temporary kaiju cosplay that turns you into a damage-dealing demon for 3 glorious turns. The game lets you play it smart or reckless, depending on how you manage your monsters, IP skills, and your obsession with treasure-choked ruins. Mix classic dungeon crawling with fusion-powered strategy, political drama, and a holy maiden collecting sacred rocks while dodging imperial propaganda. Yeah. It's a forgotten GBA gem that's part monster tamer, part tactical nuke, all adventure. And that's 15 Game Boy Advance RPGs that didn't just break the mold, they lit it on fire, cast a summoning spell, and turned it into a 3-headed chimera. These games pushed boundaries, experimented wildly, and delivered unforgettable experiences on a tiny screen. These titles proved the GBA was a playground for creative chaos. So if you've missed out on any of these gems, now's the time to dust off that handheld and get weird. Game on, hero!